and YouTube, and all the faithful people that follow me. What little sheep you are. Today, basically going to give you a lowdown of what I've been doing over the last few days, and maybe give you a bit of a review on something I purchased that I kind of had buyer's remorse for, but then once it's settled in, I'm actually kind of happy for it. So yeah, first thing is my wiring harness for this truck. I pulled it all out. It started off as we're just going to take a few things out, but I decided to pull the entire harness out, ECU the whole shebang, and fucking do all that. The first harness that I've done is for the throttle module. I want to relocate it to where the old battery is. So the old battery sits here, air filter sits over there, and since my batteries are in that cupboard now with all the wires hanging down below, I want to relocate this to get it out of the way of all that jazz, which again later on is going to get modified yet again. I gotta go down and get a new accessory harness. But my game plan is to reroute the stuff for the ECU through that hole, and then over top of the accessories, down the back side of the transmission to the starter, the crank, and all the other stuff, and then go up and over to where those ones are, and then it will travel over to the overflow and the mass airflow sensor over there, and do the O2 sensors and whatnot. I want it all to go down the back of the transmission because I want to relocate the exhaust, and I can't do that with the wiring harness running right here. So the battery cables have got to move as well, so I got to pull them back out. The other update is the shifter. Oh, damn it, I can't see. Can't see. Yoink. So shifter's in place, figured out what the hell is going on, so now it'll actually go in the gear. Turns out while doing this, I got one of the sequences out of place and it wouldn't go where I want it to go. So plan A was to remote that, get rid of this one that I've built, get rid of that one, we'll remote that one into another one, and then we'll remote this one as well. That's all kind of in place. But today we are going to take this madness. I've taken the AC. What else did I take out of it? Oh yeah, and the automatic transmission harness out of this. So I had to fillet it and pull parts of it off, and then de-pin certain other things. Run the neutral safety switch right there on those two. Back up here. And where's the other one at? There it is. All this for the automatic transmission. So all this will get heat shrinked up once I get it in place. And then I want to redo, I don't know why GM didn't do it from the factory in the first place, but this one here is okay. It comes out to one side. And then you look at the other one and it comes out both ends. Like, why? Why can't you come out here like you did the other side? So I got to pop this cover off and put all these through that hole so it will sit right. And then reroute basically everything else. I've got it kind of still in the original way. So took all the crap off of it last weekend, and then marked everything so I know where it's going to be, and hopefully it'll go back the way I want. With little to no modification other than what I've already done. Like, I don't intend on running AC, because the AC pump in this one when I first got it was completely trashed, and I don't believe I have it in there at this point in time. I think the pump was completely removed because it was seized, and it's gone through an engine since then, so I think I might have removed it when I changed the engine. This is actually the second harness that's gone through this truck, because the first one was heavily modified by the company, I'm assuming Sask Energy or gas company here. This was their work truck. It ran natural gas, I think, because of the tank provisions I think I saw in the back. It's got stainless steel lines, and some of it still remains because I can't get it out. But they had a piggyback ECU on this, and I don't think I still have that floating around. Don't think so. It was piggybacked onto whatever system, and I thought that was causing my issues with sensors and whatnot fouling up, because it keeps puking a code for the mass airflow sensor. Since then, I threw a new harness into it, and it still pukes the code. And I've changed the engine for another reason, because I thought I severely hurt the thing one winter, because the water pump froze and blew apart, and I thought I nuked the engine, so I changed the engine. So yeah, this is the second harness and the second engine, and I still get the same code. So with all that, I think I'm going to attempt to spend a few hours now that it's down to this nitty-gritty, throw it onto the engine, see where I can get. The other thing I've got is, well, I went out and did something silly. I went out and bought an EV. Did get, after a year or so of struggling, I finally got a Nissan Leaf. Now, the buyer's remorse that I had is I bought it. It had decent range on it, but I didn't realize that it calculates it as basically miles per gallon. So when I bought it, it showed good range. When I drove it to work the first day, it said I needed 16 hours to charge the thing. My heart fell into my socks. So yeah, I wasn't pleased about that. So I went try to go get it sold back to the dealership. They said no. So what their plan was, get me a faster charger. So now I have a faster charger from them. Thank you. So this will do, what the hell was it again? 10, 13, 16, and 32 amp. Right now it's set at 32. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, 32 up in the corner. And if I wanted to, I can just hold this. Goes white, and I can drop it down to 16, hold it again, and it goes to 16. And then it tells me what voltage it's actually getting, what amperage it's pulling, and what it's put in, and what the temperature is right now, and whether it's charging, and how long it took to charge. So, believe it or not, the dealership that bought this, I think it was a $300 charger. I didn't realize at the time, but they actually bought it from Amazon. But more on that later. I built some adapters for it. So the EV that I have is a Nissan Leaf. It's 2016. It will get roughly 120 to 130 kilometers range on it. And if you get it to like 5.5 kilowatts per kilometer, I guess you would be, no, 5.5 kilometers to a kilowatt. That's what it is. Then you're in the 150s. So that's not so bad. But unfortunately, I did not, on paper, factor in that from where I live to where I work, it's an uphill battle. did not foresee this. And that's where my buyer's remorse sunk to my socks. So yeah, the first few days it was, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? And then that has now dwindled off to, I haven't had to stop at a gas tank or a gas station for actual filling up for 2 months now. I've had this car. And I've put about 2,200 kilometers on it, according to the hour meter that's on it, and it's calculating it for me, that I've driven since the last reset of that, about 2,200 kilometers. And if you factor in my other car takes 450 kilometers to fill it, before I have to fill it, I should say, then I haven't had to buy 4 tanks or 5 tanks of fuel at $80 a piece. And now with the carbon tax fucking debacle shit going up, then supply and demand this spring would probably be through the friggin' roof. I am going to be paying through the fucking nose for that. So I'm happy. So this is, another buyer's remorse part is it doesn't have enough range to do a lot of things for me. I basically can drive from here, which is in Moose Jaw. I can drive to just outside Regina, and I have about 30 kilometers left, according to the guessometer, they call it, on the dial. So it's good for work. I charge at work, takes another 5.5 hours or so at 16 amp there, and then I drive back home. I have 50 to 70 kilometers coming back, because like I said, it is downhill from home or from work. And if I get a push wind, then I basically just coast all the way home. So it's nice. If I want to do some running around on this end of the run, I have enough to go to some certain shops and whatnot, and then drive home. It's nice. There's a charger at one of the dealerships, and it's right beside Walmart and a building store, Rona. I park right in the middle of that, plug in, I go do my shopping at Walmart, come back over, drop it off at the car, go over to Rona if I need to pick up some house stuff, and then come back. I'm half an hour, 45 minutes. I've got 30-something kilometers put back into the tank. So, with all that, I'm kind of happy. So, I guess, without ado, I guess I should show you this toaster, I call it. I've called it Buzz, but like I said, I've had it for a few months. I'll do more review on the adapters and the plugs later. I was trying to keep this under the wraps for the longest time, but circumstances beyond my control let the cat out of the bag, and it ran screaming from me. So I figured I'd let it out of the bag a little bit further. So that's what the last update was, is I bought some shit that I shouldn't have, and kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. I love it. I love the idea, because right now I am fucking broke, and I don't have to worry about getting to work, because all I have to do is plug this damn thing in. As long as I've got power in the house, I'm getting to work, so I can pay off the umpteen bills I have, including this fucking truck, and the amount of other shit. But right now, I don't need any parts and pieces for this thing. Basically, I'm just putting shit back into said shitty truck. So that's what we're going to do today. My goal is to get this kind of set up where I want that to be in there, and that's probably it. And maybe later this weekend, I'll get this rat's nest situated. Because right now, for this little rat's nest, since where I want the exhaust to be is right where it was coming through. So now I got to take all these out, drill new holes on the back side of this, and feed them through the back side, and then plumb them back in. So, yeah, enough of the long windbagness of me. It is now 20 minutes in, I think I've wasted enough of your time. It's time to get busy. So I'll bring you around once I get this thing back onto the track and get it the way I want. So, catch you later. Boys and girls, update time. So, I've been at this thing for probably about 2 hours now. So what we've got going on here is ECU is right there, and then all the four-wheel drive stuff, fuse block, and then it used to go down to a clip here, so I've brought it up a little bit because the engine is 4 inches lower, so I've had to redo some of the wiring to accommodate that. Goes up. This is how much throttle body I'm taking out. The injectors used to go down and around and come back, so now that much is going to be taken out. The mass airflow sensor and whatnot used to go down, pick up stuff for the AC bottles and whatnot for pressure and shit like that. Go through that clip and come up to the overflow and the mass air. So this much is now being taken out, and I've still got all the crap that goes down the back of the transmission to still deal with. So there's quite a bit of a harness that goes down there, but it looks so much cleaner now. If I can get my shadow out of the way. So yeah, it looks so much cleaner now than in kind of crazy chaos. Driver's side one pretty much landed in the same spot. I think it went over and then came back down. And then the water sensors and all the grounds now, because there used to be a ground in the back of the block, down near the starter, and down on this side. And after tracing the wires, it's really stupid, because all the grounds that are for all the sensors are actually daisy chained together anyway, and all go to various different spots of the block. So why not have them all in one spot? So yeah, there's one right behind that rail, and there's a bolt there. There's one down near the starter, and then there was one just underneath this manifold over here that was all grounds. So now all the grounds go to one spot, and my frame to body, or frame to engine ground will be here. And then I've got to do a new body to block or frame ground, because I found out the tensile strength of wire, and yeah, kind of fucked that one. So yeah, we're gonna do that over again. So I'll have to run a new wire from there down to my frame ground, which is sitting right there right now. So it goes down to a bolt that I welded to the frame quite a few years ago. And that should solve all the grounding issues, because that will go from the frame to the block, all the block ones, which are right here now. There's all those ones. Will go down to the side of the block, along with the block heater and the temperature sender. So yeah, that's where we're at right now, and we're just still plugging along. Now I gotta go do the transmission one. So that one's fairly easy. There's just the speed sensor O2s for the left and right, and the four-wheel drive engaged sensor. So when it goes manual, there's a little ball sensor that snaps over and then just basically turns the light on the dash. That's all that is. So yeah, speed sensor, then the 402 sensors, and the engaged, and that's, oh, and the starter and the crank sensor, camshaft, yeah, crankshaft sensor that goes down there. And the other camshaft one and the oil pressure sender go down this side and follow the knock sensors down this side. So then later on, I'm going to feed the alternator wire up through the back here, come over top of this, and come to this alternator and the ones down below. And then I'm going to trade this one off for a smaller version, since I now know this idea actually works. I'm going to make it a little smaller. I don't know which one it was, but I did see one in the junkyard that had 4 bolts instead of this apparatus that I've had to Afro-engineer to get into place. I've noticed down below that the belt has walked forward, and this belt is actually sitting on one of the pulleys down there, well, the main one. I don't know if it's walked off that way or it's been like that for a while, but this setup, since it's now so low and it's now touching my fuse box and the fender and all this other stuff, I can now stack it a little higher. So I'm going to put alternator, and see if I can put a plate and put the AC one here, and where's the third one? There. So this one and this one will probably sit beside each other, and I may stick the other one off the side of that so it's all one little piece, and then get this one here out of there, because with that one there is no way I can fill my power steering fluid, and that's kind of vital. So I really want to be able to fill that. I can't even make a piece that comes up the side, so I have a remote spout for filling that, because there's like that much space. You can turn the knob and pull it up, and that's it. That's as far as you can go. So I've got to redo all this, but since this one's so heavily modified now, I got to take this off and then go down to the junkyard and pick up a new accessory drive for the power steering and the alternator, so that can sit on there, and then modify that to fit this new setup. So this alternator will actually go back, yeah, so this one's sitting up a little higher right now, so it's not sitting in its original bolt there. So I've got to take this one, flop it back down. I'm going to take the other one, go off to the side, and either stick another one here and the AC compressor here, and just stack all 4 in this general area, and I can still get at the power steering piece. That's kind of where I'm at, but we'll see. And then for the air filter, I don't know if I'll go aftermarket, because now this is, well, it used to sit right here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get up to the original air box. So I might have to do some aftermarket shenanigans. Again, I've got some parts there. Hairball. And then I got to run my new AC lines, or for air compressor, back over here. So I'll have to probably redo that, and I got to do the sensors and shit for that. But that, I think, is going to be a different harness from the engine. That way I can figure out where my shit ends and their shit starts. But so far, I think I like the way it's going. I just got to shorten those wires when I get this back off. And hopefully all will work when I go to fire it back up again. Oh, well, time to get back at her.
A few moments later.
Okay, I think I'm just about done for today. So we have now got, it's hard to see with the amount of crap I've got behind me. The harness is now set up the way I want. So everything goes in its general spot. There's quite a few that I have to shorten. Like there's an O2 sensor for the rear passenger. I got to shorten it by about 3 feet. I've changed the direction of the ECU. So now instead of being splayed out the side, it's now folded over. I now know why GM kind of did that. They went out the side so they could mate the two together. Silly me. But I went out the other side because where this is going to go, it'll just sit like that. So now I've got extra wire to do it. So now that's situated. I have taken the oil level sensor out of the oil pan, but left it in case I want to shut the damn sensor off. And then I've got parts for the automatic that I don't need, and then more that I don't need for everything else. But yeah, we are basically done for the day. So tomorrow, or if I clean up my bench downstairs, I'm going to have to cut and resolder some of these joints and then get it all prettied up and put it back on the truck. So, yeah, like and subscribe and all the other jazz, and keep up with the build that this thing is going with. This all started because I had to do a rear main seal, and it snowballed from there. So I've now done a rear main seal, found out my clutch was backwards. How I did that, I don't know, but it was backwards. That snowballed into finding a video that I can change the shifter location, so now we're doing that. And then that led into cleaning up the back seat so I can take the seat out, and then looking at the wiring harness and going, well, now that it's 4 inches lower, I have to redo that. It's never ending. I've taken the harness, the 4 battery cables I had running across the frame and up into there. Now that's been pulled out as well. All this for a rear main seal. More like OCD. I just can't stand it. I've done, this was done in kind of haste last time I did it, and now that I've been doing other things throughout my life, I think it's about time that I redo this and make it a little bit better. But it started with a rear main seal. That's all I wanted to do, is just a rear main seal, call it done, and freshen some other stuff up, and then snowball effect. Well, like I said, check you later, and like and subscribe, and all the other shite, and I'll catch you on the next video.